Thank you very much. Councillor Stannard, please, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I'd just like to talk about some of the infrastructure projects which are within my portfolio and the achievements this year. Before I do that, I just want to note a major achievement this year is that the Greater Norwich Local Plan was adopted in March 2024, following close partnership working with Broadland and South Norfolk and Norfolk County Councils. The Greater Norwich Local Plan provides the growth strategy and the sites to implement to 2038, and that was many years in the making, extremely hard work, and means that we have the framework in place to grow going forward in partnership. Now I want to talk a little bit about an infrastructure project which is East Norwich. An economic vision for East Norwich was prepared, informed by the Norwich Inclusive Economy Vision, to identify how the area can support the economic growth of the city. Stakeholder engagement and strategies for planning have also progressed, whilst the needs and potential delivery of infrastructure, including a new primary school and sustainable energy, have been appraised, and we obtained funding from Homes England to support that work. Carrow House was also brought back into use with a lease to the Norwich Unity Hub. We're going to continue going forward to work with Homes England and partners to take forward the development of East Norwich. It is an extremely exciting development. It is the largest brownfield development site in the east of England. It will be a new quarter for the city. I have to mention Anglia Square. The council has acquired Anglia Square in order to bring forward comprehensive redevelopment of up to 1,100 new homes alongside commercial, retail and community uses. This has also involved successfully bidding for £34 million of government grant by Homes England in order to acquire, demolish and remediate the site ready for development. This is something which many citizens have been waiting for a long time to see the regeneration take place. So work is now underway to prepare for demolition in the new financial year. There's ongoing engagement with existing traders alongside drawing up plans for a box park style temporary development adjacent to the site for some traders to move into. We've also agreed to enter into an investment partnership which will provide knowledge and capacity to take forward the redevelopment opportunity, and initial heads of terms have been agreed. Looking forward, we can expect to see the wholesale demolition of the site and the delivery of the box park, and then proceeding rapidly with our development partner to begin the redevelopment of the site. And finally, I have to mention Hay Hill. We designed and managed the comprehensive redesign of Hay Hill in the heart of the city centre. The significant city centre regeneration project was completed as part of the £25 million investment for the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government to revitalise key areas of the city. The revamp transformed the space into a vibrant, accessible area which has significant benefits for everyone. I think we can be very proud of it, and I went down on the very day that it opened. It had only been open for a couple of hours, and already people were using it. It was packed out with people, and every time I go there, people are using the space and enjoying it, which is exactly what we intended. I think I just want to close by saying we're working really, really hard to improve infrastructure in the city, be it modest schemes like Hay Hill or major schemes like Anglia Square and indeed East Norwich. And I think in the last year we've made significant progress in all of those areas. Very proud of that, and we will continue that work going forward as funded in this budget.
Thank you. Councillor Kidman, please.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Deputy Lord Mayor. This budget exemplifies our priorities as a Labour-led administration to champion a prosperous Norwich. Today I'm here before you with immense pride as both a citizen and a councillor of our vibrant and innovative city. It can't be emphasised enough. Culture is not just an aesthetic or recreational matter, it is an economic driver. Culture is a builder and shaper of communities. Culture acts as a placemaker by shaping the identity and character of a place. Investing in culture is not an expense, it is an investment in our economic growth, tourism, job creation and overall quality of life. The events, festivals, performances of this city bring people together, creating a sense of belonging. A city rich in cultural engagement is a city that is inclusive and forward-thinking. It's not just about the value of culture for our residents. Visitors come to Norwich for its uniqueness, heritage, experiences and vibrancy. I'm especially proud of the redesign of the halls to future-proof its economic prosperity. The extensive renovation and repair of the halls will be completed this year. The project will transform this unique city centre heritage asset into a fit-for-the-future, multi-purpose performance venue. The Creative City Compact is developing a culture strategy for Norwich which will bring together partners in a shared focus, set of ambitions and approach. This work will focus on the intrinsic value of culture and creativity in our city, as well as the economic, health, social, educational, community and environmental benefits. It will enable clear goals to be set, progress to be monitored and outcomes evaluated, and will support the Council's delivery of We Are Norwich. This work demonstrates Norwich's ambition around culture and creativity and will be another boon to arguments around a Norwich unitary. Let us continue to champion the arts, celebrate our heritage, and foster a place where creativity and culture thrive. This budget ensures that Norwich remains a beacon of innovation and inclusivity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Galvin, please.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. Just a couple of things. I wanted to make the point around a couple of our amendments. The amendment for local government reorganisation to increase the it's a mark of the suddenness of the government's devolution agenda that this amendment started life sort of less than a month ago at a far smaller amount, and it's really ballooned. And the aim of it is really to enable Norwich's unitary bid, but at the same time to track the spending and give it a neatness to that. The DCN recently published their findings of its freedom of information request, which showed the government hasn't actually undertaken any post-implementation assessment of the actual upfront costs to central and local government from creating in 2023 two unitary councils in Somerset, Cumbria and North Yorkshire. So we're operating slightly in a bit of a vacuum as understanding what the costs of making these business cases are, and the earmark reserve will enable us to keep a clear account of spending. And obviously the aim isn't to spend it all, it's a reserve. So that I just wanted to make that, to record that, but we're very grateful that that has been positively accepted. And to pay tribute to Inclusive Norwich, actually, while I can here, they've done 12 months foundational work. They've built a really good relationship, thanks to the City Council helping to be a partner and start them with to improve the relationship with the third sector. And this amendment's going to enable a positive return on that investment that we've already made, without which we would have risked losing what we'd so painstakingly created by a great team and is really very much needed. And the amendment will help us to continue to bring to life the philosophy which is outlined in a short film they shared at their launch a few weeks ago, which is called Made for More, and I'd recommend it to all councillors. And I just want to quote from that, if I may. It said, "The environment is what disables you. If the environment is enabling and inclusive, the disability goes away. If there's no disability, then everyone's able to contribute. The purple pound calculations that disabled people contribute 30% to the economy. So if shops, gyms and other places increase their access, they'd increase their revenue by that amount." I know that we all understand that here, but I think through the work we're doing with the Task and Finish group, we see that can't be said often enough. The £20 of the people who are disabled is not disabled. If you don't have a step, you're telling someone you don't want their money, etc. If you have a step, you can't get in. So if the barriers are there, we are made for less, is quoted in the film, but removing the barriers and having the cultural mindset that everybody matters, that everybody is valid and everybody has a way of contributing, everybody adds value as a human being, is beyond also economic value. It matters, and without it life would be a little less. I'd like to finish by again quoting from the film We all breathe, we all bleed, we all need food. And if we are accepting of each other, then the barriers go away and we can all live with a little more humanity and maybe even have a better life and all be made for more. So I'm really pleased that we're carrying on with the Inclusive Norwich Partnership, which will really help us to carry on the good work to make sure that we and all our partners work towards being much, much more inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Calvert.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. We've heard a lot about costs, decisions and ambitions. While we support this budget, we must acknowledge, though, that what is truly costing the people of Norwich is a lack of political oversight from this Labour administration. One of the more obvious examples of this is the amount we spent on agency staff. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of hard-working and capable staff employed here through agencies, and we benefit greatly from external expertise for ambitious projects. But this is not where we're going wrong. In the last full financial year, this council spent about £5.7 million on agency staff, completely unbudgeted. So much for balanced budgets. This meant that £2.9 million had to be diverted from other budget areas or spent from reserves. It's worth noting that this is twice the what has been allocated for the council tax reduction scheme annually. What else could we do with £2.9 million every year? Is there a better way we could spend this? It would double our parks and open spaces budget every year. Or, if you wanted, it would allow us to employ around 60 enforcement officers against fly tipping, rather than the current position where we have no fully dedicated officers to the enforcement of this blight. Or, if you liked, you could make the collection of bulky waste free and remove the blight from the streets in the poorest areas of our city. Or perhaps we'd like to spend it on trees. £2.9 million would buy, plant and maintain thousands of additional trees every year in Norwich. Members right across this chamber will have opinions, I am sure, where the money could be spent more usefully than it is at the moment. Instead of muttering about successive Labour and Conservative central governments failing to properly fund local governments, much more time needs to be spent on overseeing how we spend the money we do have, because we all bear the cost of this Labour administration's blind spot when it comes to financial oversight. We've heard a great deal about social housing. So how are we as the council getting on with this issue vital to 14,000 households? In 2022, the council set out a 5-year budget forecasting £10 million to be spent on upgrades to tower blocks. By December of this year, the council had spent none of it, not a penny. £4.6 million was budgeted over 5 years for improvement to water hygiene. 2.5 years in, where were we? £4,000 out of £4.6 million. £11 million was budgeted for improvements to windows over those 5 years, to keep residents warm and to keep their heating costs down. How much have we spent? Well under £1 million of that. In the wake of Grenfell, it was recognised that doors needed upgrading. £2.6 million was allocated over 5 years. 2.5 years in, we have spent around £500,000, a fifth of what we had allocated. Communal boilers, again, to keep residents warm, keep down costs and reduce carbon emissions. A £10 million budget. 85% of that has gone unspent. There is no value in setting a budget if the budget does not get spent. Good intentions are all very well, but we all know where good intentions alone will lead us.
Councillor Calvert, can you bring your remarks to a close, please?
While we support this budget, Norwich deserves better from its administration when it comes to the delivery. Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Right, next, we're going back over this side again. Councillor Sands, please.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. We all know that momentous events are in train that will bring about the biggest changes in local government for 50 years, and most certainly in the context of Norwich City Council since 2010. It is not by luck or chance that we have had stable stewardship of City Council and city resources for many years. Norwich City Council, with its Labour-led administration and a total cadre of mixed party councillors numbering 39, and not one Conservative. And despite 14 years of Westminster Tory cuts to local government, has managed its finances well, maintaining quite healthy reserves. We are also one of the few local authorities to date to manage a fully funded council tax reduction scheme. Against this, we have seen councils across the country, mostly Conservative administered, served with Section 114 notices due to bad governance and poor stewardship of finances. It is then with great confidence that I commend you this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Now over to Councillor Maguire, please.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. In the tough macho management 80s, we were taught that a budget is a snapshot of the state of an organisation at a particular time. In that same era, we often felt that the job of an accountant was to say no. Thankfully, nowadays, we talk much more of financial planning, which sets out how we could achieve our aims. Today's accountant says, how can I help you to achieve your hopes? Lord Mayor, Deputy Lord Mayor, I wish to give a heartfelt thank you to all in our financial team who so carefully and meticulously examined the hopes and aspirations of the Labour administration and done their best to make them possible. Deputy Lord Mayor, we all know that there are a series of negotiations and iterations in order to strike the balance between what we would like and what is possible now in the real world. We can scream like a child and stamp our feet and insist, but we have to recognise that we operate within an environment, and I think we've done really well. Deputy Lord Mayor, for the function of our city, this financial strategy and budget are sine qua non, but what's more, they are sine par, they are without equal. In this respect, I want to thank all members of the Cabinet for such a progressive approach in order to help all of our plans. This includes the development of an investment portfolio on the guidance of a panel of experts in this specialist field. Cabinets have not just divided the cake, they have made the cake bigger. Norwich, as we know, is an economic hub and driver for growth in our region. And as Alice MacDonald, MP for Norwich North, said recently in the House of Commons, that's as much as £3 billion per year. I'm particularly proud of the industry in this area, and in particular, I'd like to mention the strong financial sector that we have. We also know, however, that like any great regional hub, there can be social, economic and educational differences. There is much in this financial strategy and budget to address the ways in which we can, as a district council, do something about this, and who knows, maybe more in the future. Deputy Lord Mayor, I'd just like to pick one aspect of all of this that exemplifies the approach of this administration. A key driver for the city is providing vibrant parks and open spaces for all. We see in the financial strategy and budget plans to invest new play equipment in parks, improvements to access to Riverside Walk, significant works at Slow Bottom Park at a mind-watering amount. I know there is no great spending there in my own ward, but I understand that we have a priority system and we don't just scream out for our own particular ward. Deputy Lord Mayor, at a time when so many councils are declaring bankruptcy, the Labour administration continues to balance the books and invest. This financial strategy and budget can be made because of prudent care by officers and Cabinet. I should be proud to vote for the acceptance of both.
Thank you. Absolutely bang on 3 minutes, so thank you for that. Councillor Padder, please.
Sorry, thanks. Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I'm really pleased to back this budget as one which invests in people and planet. As a member of SEEP, the Council's Climate Panel, I'm pleased to have had the opportunity to follow and input into the climate action this Council takes and that this budget underpins. From heat network planning to electric vehicle infrastructure and from biodiversity enhancements to housing retrofit, these are all work streams that bring immediate benefit to communities while cutting carbon emissions at the same time. It's great to hear about the tens of millions of pounds of retrofit measures the Council is wanting to deliver, pending the response to its EOIs or expressions of interest. The fact that we have been able to bid for many times more funding for both social housing and private sector housing decarbonisation is thanks to the new Labour government, who have both increased the size of the pot available for authorities to bid to and made it more accessible with less restrictions on how it can be spent, meaning we have opportunity to deliver more innovative solutions which truly work for Norwich. If successful, thousands more people in our fine city will benefit from warm homes and lower bills. In terms of biodiversity and access to open space, the Council supports a volunteer project such as Wild Lakenham, a community interest organisation aimed at supporting wildlife, access to green space and the Lakenham community. I look forward to seeing how the budget can continue to support other initiatives such as Wild Lakenham in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Harper, please.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I'm proud to be supporting this budget for all of the reasons colleagues have already listed tonight. You know, at a time when councils up and down the country are issuing Section 114 notices, I think we can take great pride in the fact that that our council retains its strong financial position and the people in our fine city know that their services, whilst not always perfect world services, are protected for the long term. And, you know, we know the Tories have caused this crisis in local government through 14 years of underfunding, 60% reductions in real terms. But our fiscal responsibility has helped protect Norwich from some of the worst of that impact. And, you know, as Councillor Kendrick said, with a smart and ethical commercial strategy front and centre. And I think Councillor Kendrick is also right to call out the fact that if we listen to the party opposite, we'd be in a very different situation. But they are at least consistent in talking our services down and consistent in running public services down when they do get their hands on the levers of power. And if we want to talk about political oversight, let's look to Brighton, where a Labour administration is still clearing up the mess that was left behind by the Greens. Let's talk about Bristol, where residents will soon literally be clearing up the mess themselves, where residents will now look forward to bin collections with the same anticipation as they do the passing of the seasons, and with only slightly greater frequency. It's a stark reminder, I think, of the importance of managing local services with both care and foresight, of the importance of making promises you can keep, not just telling people what they want to hear based on unfunded pipe dreams. So I'm proud that our Labour budget will continue to focus on delivering the high quality services the city deserves. We'll continue to engage with the community, listen to their concerns, and where we fall short, make improvements based on their feedback. Lifting people out of fuel poverty, making advances on our net zero commitments thanks to our ambitious retrofit programme, building new affordable homes, and continuing to make our estates and communities cleaner and safer places to live. That's the difference that a Labour council and a Labour government working in partnership can make.
Thank you. Councillor Carrington next, please.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I remember this time last year talking about the ways in which the budget would deliver for our citizens, and deliver it did. For example, due to continued investment in assets such as our award-winning parks, I was delighted to see that Moushold Heath, which lies partly within my ward in Catton Grove, retained its green flag status. And last year, we were able to maintain our 100% council tax reduction scheme for working age residents on low incomes. And I'm pleased to see that due to prudential financial management, our current budget enables us to support this once again. Our budget is set to deliver further improvements across our services in Norwich. Looking solely at the capital programme, and to mention a couple of things, one intention is to build around 150 council houses by the end of the decade. On top of this, £29.5 million is to be spent on upgrading our ageing housing stock and £1.6 million on improving privately owned homes with older or disabled residents to allow them to remain there as long as possible. In addition, the adoption of the socio-economic duty will enable the council to target resources to the most socially deprived areas of the city. But it doesn't stop there. Whilst other councils are having to sell assets, the recent council acquisition of the Anglia Square site will finally enable the building of homes, including affordable housing, business opportunities and jobs for local people. The hard work that went into this demonstrates the dedication of this council to improve lives and open up opportunities. I will be voting for this budget as I know once again it will deliver for the people of Norwich. Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to speak? Did I miss anyone out? No, in which case, Councillor Kendrick, would you like to respond?
Well, I'm more tempted to say, given the inanity of what seems to be support for this budget, I could try and cut my comments down as much as possible so we can get to that glorious moment when it is approved. But I'd just like to say one or two things just before we come to that glorious point. Firstly, I think in terms of Councillor Davis's remarks about the new Labour government, well, they are actually committed to a review of local government finances, and you're absolutely right, we do need to actually lobby the central government to make a number of changes, especially to the council tax system. For example, bring in more bands. And it cannot surely be sensible that a owner of a terraced house in Stoke or Hartlepool actually pays more in council tax than the owner of a millionaire penthouse in Mayfair. That is simply unacceptable. I'm glad to say I shall be at no expense to this local authority in March going to a local government association conference on finance where I will be urging reforms to the council tax system and the local government finances in general. As to the question of agency staff and interims, yes, we are addressing this issue, but it is a sector-wide issue that affects most councils. And we cannot be surprised because over the last 15 years, while I accept that living standards for most people have not increased, but for local council workers, they've actually declined by 20%. The local government sector is simply not for younger people as attractive as it once was in, let's say, 2010. And while the government may talk about reforms to the planning system, the truth is there is a massive nationwide shortage of planning officers. And of course that does mean you either have the choice of saying, yes, we'll hire agency staff so we can carry on providing the service, or you simply say, oh dear, we haven't got the staff, we just have to cut those services. Oh, what a shame. So I would very much urge members to support this budget, as I hope and believe that you will.
Thank you, Councillor Kendrick. Before we move to the recorded vote, I would just like to offer my thanks to members for the quality of the debate this evening. Thank you for that. And also thank you very much to members of the Scrutiny Committee who put a lot of time and effort into the forensic examination of this budget at Scrutiny. So this evening is really the showpiece that tops off a lot of other work that's gone on. And thank you everyone for your commitment and officers for getting us to the point where we are this evening. So we're now going to move to a recorded vote. For those who are new to the council this year, we have to do a recorded vote at Budget Council. In a second, Leonie will read out each councillor's name in alphabetical order and you say either for, against or abstain. So over to you, Leonie.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Councillor Ackroyd. For. Councillor Bolton.
For.
Councillor Kane. For. Councillor Calvert.
For.
Councillor Carrington. For. Councillor Catt.
For.
Councillor Champion.
For.
Councillor Davis.
For.
Councillor Driver.
For.
Councillor Fox.
For.
Councillor Fulton McAllister.
For.
Councillor Galvin.
For.
Councillor Giles.
For.
Councillor Hampton. For. Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Hirschner.
For.
Councillor Huntley.
For.
Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor Kendrick.
For.
Councillor Kidman.
For.
Councillor Lubbock.
For.
Councillor Maguire.
For.
Councillor Oliver.
For.
Councillor Osborne.
For.
Councillor Padder.
For.
Councillor Mike Sands.
For.
Councillor Sue Sands. Councillor Schmierer.
For.
Councillor Smith. Councillor Stonnard.
For.
Councillor Worley.
5. For.
Councillor Wright.
For.
Councillor Young. For. That is carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. I did think at one point there we were on a golf course, but anyway, thank you all very much for your participation this evening and have a good night.